With all the different rotaries on the market to choose from, are you wondering which one is right for you? In this video, I'll walk you through the pros and cons of each type so you can choose the right one starting right now. Hey, it's Travis from Mad Moose Labs here, where we help you grow your laser business by teaching you tips and tricks from where to start to business strategy and marketing. If you're new here, welcome, and make sure you smash that like and subscribe button, as we will be constantly coming out with new content to help you be successful in your laser business. All the links to products I mentioned can be found in the description box below, so let's jump right in. Rotary attachments are some of the best ways to amplify your business by expanding your engraving capabilities onto products like tumblers, mugs, pins, baseballs, baseball bats, and a whole bunch more. I'll break down the pros and cons of the different brands of rotaries on the market to help you decide which one is right for you. To get started, let's start with talking about the Chuck rotary. So the Chuck is a classic rotary tool, is one of the first out on the market. Its pros are, it's best for small objects. There's no need to weigh or clamp down glasses for it. It has higher precision than other rotaries that are prone to slippage. There's more room for handles for mugs. Some of the cons are, it is harder to level the object. To level the objects with a Chuck, you often have to raise one end or the other on the Chuck to get it level with your actual laser head. It is also limited to items that can be clamped, such as this tumbler here. By allowing it to go in here, you have two different types of clamps. You can either compress it or expand it and hold it nice and flat like this. For standard tumblers such as this one, they work really well, as this one is a nice flat level surface to engrave on. You don't really have to worry about tilting this to get it level with your laser head too much. One other disadvantage to the Chuck rotary is they don't like working with objects that have heavy bases, such as beer steins. What happens is, as you're engraving, they tend to slip out of the Chuck assembly and fall down, which ruins your laser engrave. One other disadvantage is they do not like odd-shaped objects. They like tumblers with straight sides. They do not handle curved tumblers very well. With Chuck rotary, such as this one, they are very easy to work with. All you have to do to load up an object is loosen your clamp, slide the object over it, and then tighten the clamp down, put your end stop down here, flip the lever, and you're ready to go. To change it out, it's as simple as doing it in reverse. Flip the lever, slide the end stop back, loosen up the Chuck, remove it, put on your next one, and you are ready to go. One thing to watch for with a Chuck rotary such as this one is all of your wiring is completely exposed here. So you need to be careful of that. Make sure that it does not come loose or undone. For example, in this Chuck rotary, you can see that they actually used ferrule clips. Well, the ferrule clips have screw downs. This is not actually the correct way to do it. These wires should be tinned and then screwed down. Ferrule clips are only for push-in connectors with automatic clamping. If the primary thing that you're going to be working with is straight walled tumblers such as this one, a Chuck rotary might be the best bang for your buck, as it is very fast to load and unload tumblers. They do have the highest amount of accuracy, as this can't slip from the Chuck. Let's talk about a hot dog roller such as this one. These are great when you have straight walled tumblers to work on. You can set them on here and pretty much forget it. There's no additional setup needed. However, this is the only objects that you are able to run on these. If you have anything with a taper, you are not able to level this out, as if you do, when this spins, your tumbler will start slowly drifting to one side, making your laser engraving misaligned. In my opinion, these hot dog roller styles are not the best option for most people. The next type of rotary that I want to talk about is the Chinese version of the roller rotary. These are an older technology, but they are still useful, as you do have the ability to adjust one end of it up or down. So if you do have a tumbler with a taper on it, you are able to align it up and make sure that it is nice and level. Some of the downfalls to this type of rotary is this end stop is able to freely move back and forth. As you're engraving, you'll notice that this can sway, which can mess up your laser engraving. This also has a tendency to slowly walk backwards while you're engraving, which will eventually make your tumbler fall off the wheels. Some of the pros of this type of roller rotary is its cost, coming in at about half the cost of the US models made by Pieburn and Rotoboss. Now jumping right into the two most dominant rotaries on the market, let's look at Rotoboss and Pieburn. Both are roller rotaries, both are highly adjustable, and both offer superb engraving quality on round objects. Both are designed for medium to heavy use, and both are compatible with most laser machines that run on the Rubidia controllers. That's where the similarities stop. Let's look at them side by side. The Rotoboss runs between $925 to $1,325, making it the most expensive rotary on the market. However, with that, it features an all-metal system with the ability to fine-tune all the adjustments on it. The stepper motor is on the inside, which does require you to mirror your image in Lightburn before sending it over to your laser. Some of the other features to the Rotoboss are the guide wheels that help the end-stop move back and forth. They are a V-slot style wheel, which does make for very smooth rolling back and forth and very easy adjustments, as you can see. All you have to do is turn the knob down by the stepper motor, and that will guide the whole end-stop unit back and forth. You have an additional adjustment wheel right here to raise and lower the back side of this adjustment stop. Some of the things I did notice is this wheel to raise and lower it does sit really tight against here, so you can't really reach your fingers. So it is a little bit cumbersome to reach this to get it to move up and down. Also, when you're moving the end stop back and forth, as you can see, it takes a long time to get from one end to the other. So if you are shifting from a longer tumbler, such as this one, we'll put this in really quick, and you'll see how long it'll take when I go to move to the next one. So now that this one is in here, we'll level it out. And then to switch to a different style of tumbler, we can remove this, put the next one in, but now you see we have to crank the wheel more to get that end stop to line up. And then, once again, realign this back piece so we can get your tumbler sitting nice and level. This does have a very nice clamping system with a nice wheel here to keep from marring the surfaces. One of the other advantages to Rotoboss is their support. Rotoboss is very engaged with their end users on various Facebook groups. Also, due to a heavy user base, the support is very strong amongst many groups across Facebook and other places. One of the heaviest support bases is on the Thunder Laser groups, as this is the standard rotary that Thunder Laser sells for their lasers. With Rotoboss, the system has been upgraded over the years due to extensive research and development and user feedback. Upgrade kits have been made available for the older models to bring it up to the current standards. One thing I did notice is that their user manual is fairly well written. However, it reads more like a technical document rather than an instruction manual. There's some outdated information in the manual where it comes to setting up the rotary in Lightburn. Although the information still works there are much easier ways in setting up the rotary in Lightburn now through Lightburn's rotary management. A table of contents would also be a much welcome addition, so you can easily find the section you need for your rotary. So let's go over the main pros of the Rotoboss. The first one is its insane amount of stability that it has when it comes to clamping down numerous round objects such as tumblers. It also has microfine adjustments in both up and down and left and right. It also comes with magnetic feet on the bottom, so those of you who are running it on a honeycomb bed can set this down and it will stay right where it needs to. Now let's talk about some of the cons. It is expensive. It is the most expensive one on the market. It is very slow to adjust when it comes to length. However, that's not always a bad thing, as it does give you the ability to fine-tune your adjustments. One other disadvantage to the Rotoboss is the metal end stop plate here. When you load up a tumbler and level it out, you will notice that this tumbler actually will rest up against that end stop, allowing metal to rub up against and scuff the bottom of your tumblers. Something as easy as putting a piece of felt across here will help minimize that though. You'll notice on the Rotoboss, when you go to engrave something such as a wine glass, if you put this up against the front edge, you can't have this adjust all the way to the back, otherwise your project's going to fall off. However, you can rest it on the wheels, but keep in mind that this gap here will be unsupported. With the Rotoboss, one other thing I noticed is when we flip it around, you'll notice all of the wiring is exposed. This means that you could potentially knock one of these wires loose and disable your rotary until you figure out the correct wiring schematic for it again. And as I covered earlier, you'll notice that this thumb screw does sit very close to this top plate, making it kind of hard to get your fingers in there and adjust. If this was up just another quarter to half inch, you could easily wrap your fingers around it and it would be very easy to grip onto. Flipping the rotary back over, one of the other things that's a disadvantage to the Rotoboss is this adjustment wheel here. When you clip a tumbler in, you'll notice that this wheel cannot be adjusted for how much tension is applied to the inside of your tumbler. One other thing I did notice throughout these tests is all of the rotaries have an exposed drive belt system. This could potentially allow for debris to get in your belt and make it skip, throwing off your timing of your belt. Now let's take a look at the Pieburn. The Pieburn runs from $749 to $943. It is made mostly of metal, but does have some 3D printed parts on it. But all critical components of this are metal. It is the industry first roller rotary that has the stepper motor put on the outside of this. This means that you do not have to mirror your image in Lightburn before sending your project over to your laser. One thing with the Pieburn is, as they've been going through their upgrades through the years, they haven't released upgrade kits to go from one version to the next. This is something that I did mention to them, and I don't know if they will offer in the future, but if they decided to, it would be a welcome addition to the family. With the Pieburn, you'll notice to move it from front to back, it's as simple as twisting a thumb screw and then just rolling the whole unit forward and backwards. This makes for fast adjustments when loading a tumbler of different sizes. As you can see here, I can put this tumbler down, run that down, level it out, and I am set and ready to go. If I want to use a different type of tumbler, I can remove this, put on the next tumbler, and same thing, loosen that thumb screw, put it against there, level it out, tighten the thumb screw, and we are good to go again. This greatly reduces the amount of setup time needed to go from one size of tumbler to the next. So if you are doing multiple sizes of tumbler, this might be the one for you. With the Pieburn, the user manual is very well written and very easy to understand and follow, explaining things along the way. The table of contents is a big plus, allowing you to directly get to the section that you need. Although a hotlink-based table of contents would be a welcome addition in the future, allowing the user to click on the section that they're trying to get to. Now let's go over the pros and the cons of the Pieburn unit. Some of the pros are they do offer these occasional limited edition color schemes, which are really fun and unique in the rotary market. They also come with a shroud that protects your controller, wiring, and stepper motor all in one, so you don't have to worry about knocking a connection loose. One of the other pros about the Pieburn is this front stop here is actually adjustable, where it is not on the Rotoboss. As you can see, this one here simply slides in and out. There's a thumb screw to lock it into place. This really helps if you're doing wine flutes or champagne glasses. So if you are working on odd-shaped items, such as a wine glass, you have to set the base of it right in the groove of the wheel. So what this will allow you to do is adjust the front stop, put your back in there, adjust your rear wheel, and now we'll level it out. By using this front adjustable stop, it keeps your wine glass from sliding forward, and the rear stop keeps it from sliding backwards. Since we're talking about the back stop, you'll notice on this one it is fully adjustable and has a rubber wheel here to protect your project so you don't get any scuffs or dings along the way. Now let's go over some of the cons of the Pieburn. One of the things that I did notice is when I received this, it was not ready to use out of the box. I did have to make some minor adjustments to it. All of the wheels along this end stop here were very loose, and I had to end up tightening them to allow this to actually be supported without rocking back and forth. The way it came out of the box, I was able to rotate this tower and actually move it just with my hands, which would mean if we went to the laser engraver with this, there's a good chance that it would wiggle while I was engraving my tumbler, ruining the project. On the vertical height adjustment, you'll notice that there's plenty of room under the knob for your fingers, so it is easy to grip the knob to move it up and down. To lock it in place, it is simple as turning this thumb screw there, and now it's locked in place, so it can't move up and down. One con of the Pieburn is if you do not get this thumb screw tightened down all the way, it is prone to drifting and having this piece slowly fall down as you're engraving. A couple other cons of the Pieburn are the feet on it are just felt padded. They are not magnetic standard, although they do offer an upgrade kit to have magnetic feet on here. One other feature of the Pieburn that is both a pro and a con is this retention spring. You'll notice, if you can hear that, it makes a grinding noise straight out of the box. This can be rectified by dismantling this and putting a piece of Teflon tube over the screw in here, which would allow for smoother transitions. However, with that said, notice that you can actually adjust the amount of tension put down on this front wheel. So if you're doing more delicate objects, you can lighten the tension, and when you're doing heavier objects that require that extra grip, you can tighten this down to get maximum clamping power. As I mentioned with the other rotaries, you'll notice the belts here are also fully exposed, allowing debris to fall down, possibly letting the gears slip or skip, and ruining your job. Let's talk about one other rotary option. HM Laser does make a roller rotary, although I do not have one here to test. They do start at $235 and go on up. However, as I do not have one to test, I cannot include it in the side-by-side lineup at this time. It is a lower budget entry-level unit designed for occasional use. Due to the type of construction of this unit, constant retightening of the screws and maintenance can be expected. These units are also very prone to allowing the tumblers to walk, ruining the engraving, although this can be minimized by adding weight inside of the tumbler or using their optional clamp kit. The frame isn't very rigid, so leveling can be complicated and will increase the risk of items walking off the rollers. There is also a long wait time for ordering these. A limited user base for support and compatibilities are very limited on certain machines. So in closing, which one of these is right for you? And the answer is, well, it depends. If you're a medium to heavy user that is constantly changing from different size tumblers to mugs, then the Pieburn is definitely for you due to the speed of adjustment in length and height. And there's no need to mirror the image. Just one last thing that you have to remember to do prior to production. If you are a heavy user that requires the highest precision available and don't mind a few extra seconds to perform setup, and you still need the availability to run odd-shaped objects like baseballs and baseball bats, then the Rotoboss is definitely the way you want to go. If you are a light to heavy user requiring the highest amount of precision available, and you primarily are engraving pins, rods, rings, tumblers, and glasses, anything with flat walls, and you don't mind taking the extra time for leveling out your work, and you don't need the freedom to engrave odd-shaped objects, then the Chuck Rotary is definitely the way you would want to go. The hot dog roller rotaries are only recommended if you're running the 20 or 30 ounce skinny tumblers, and that's all you're planning on running. At this time, I can't recommend HM Laser's rotary as I don't have one here to test. I do plan on getting one, so be on the lookout for a full review of that one, as well as the rest of these rotaries here on the future. I really hope that this video helped you figure out which rotary is going to be the best one for your business. Please drop a comment below, let us know how we did, see if there's other rotaries on the market that we aren't aware of that you would like us to test.